Hi. This episode's important because we're going to talk about shooting accidents, especially in particular at the shooting range. Okay? I'm not going to go into and talk about all the stuff like, the gun safety program and everything everybody should already know and everything like this. No, I'm going to talk about a few little particular things that, my brother and I have come across. Well, we go to the shooting range in the last couple of years. Okay? Now these are, pretty common things, maybe remedies and stuff, but here's the thing. Okay? We reload our own shells. And sometimes, after reloading thousands of shells, 10,000 shells, well, once in a while we make a little bit of a mistake, right? Maybe we have a little bit of a over powder charge. You saw in one of my videos where the gun blew up in my hand. It blew back and through the magazine. Could have been worse. Something you need to be aware of, okay? Just saying. When you're doing the reloads and stuff, you got to be particularly careful. You have to when you're shooting guns anyway, right? That's the big thing right there. You have to be particularly careful when you're shooting anyway, especially when there's other people around you. If you're alone, not as much, right? You're just worried about yourself. There's other people around you, that's a little different story. You have to be very careful, okay? So, also, we reload here. We've come across some primers that misfired. They didn't fire for some reason. We're not sure, but we didn't like these primers, and so we won't get them again. I think they were Federals, oddly enough. Out of 100 primers, half of them didn't work. Half of them did, half of them didn't. It wasn't because of light primer strikes either from the firing pin of the gun. So anyway, okay. So one day, while we're shooting these up at the range, I shot a couple of shells that did fire. All of a sudden, I had one of these shells. It didn't. Okay, so it went through the chamber, the trigger hit it, the firing pin hit it, it didn't fire. So, and I'm semi-automatic, of course. So I ejected it, right? And the new shell goes in behind it, okay? Okay, well, if I wasn't careful and didn't look at that shell that didn't fire first, okay, listen to what happened. Somehow the bullet of that shell got caught up in the lands, the beginning of the rifling in the barrel of the gun, right? When I ejected it, I saw a little bit of powder come out. And I thought, what's going on? That didn't fire. Yet just the brass came out. Okay, the bullet's still stuck in there. Now the next bullet's already done loaded behind that bullet. Okay, now I got a problem. If I pull that trigger, whoa, boom. Okay, so ended up, getting that other bullet behind it out and then look and noticing, yeah, that bullet is stuck in there. And then Dave and I couldn't even get it out. I guess that other bullet pushed it up in there enough that it just crammed it in there. And we took the doggone our cleaning kit rods and tried to get it out. Couldn't. We had to bring that home and had to get a solid steel push rod eventually, and he knocked it out. We tried everything up at the range, and it just ruined our doggone cleaning rods. So, flared the ends and stuff, made sections unusable. So that didn't work. So that gun, or at least the upper receiver, had to come home that day. Okay, caught that. That could have been tricky. That could have been, could have killed me, probably. I'm not sure. Okay. All right, let's talk about a few things that also happened to us. Okay, one of the biggies is the muzzle brakes that go on the end of Dave's big guns, like his 270, his 308, his 6.5 Creedmoor, Savage bolt action guns, okay? So they'd kick if he didn't put these muzzle brakes on them, right? And he's got the good ones, and like a couple $100 each, I guess. They come out the sides, the blow by, and some of the unburnt or whatever it is crap that comes out, carbon, I guess, that comes out the end of your barrel, a little bit of, along with the bullet when you shoot, behind the bullet, there's a little bit of crap there. Well, and it doesn't matter, when you're sitting next to the guy at the bench and he's shooting that gun, that's happened to me twice. Blew crap immediately right into my eye. I'm blind for a while. I can't see. I got to rinse my eye out and everything like that. The first time I didn't know what to do because I wasn't prepared for that kind of thing. I didn't have anything, I didn't even have a first aid kit with me or anything at that time. Dave did, luckily and stuff. But there's no place to go up at the public shooting range or whatever. They don't have a facility there. They just have the benches and you put the targets up and everything. You got to bring all your own safety equipment or anything you need, we're going to talk about that in just a second too. Okay. So yeah, that muzzle brake was blowing crap right in my face. So if you've ever noticed any of our videos where we're up at the shooting range together, you see the American flag. We put that up in between us on the board. And that's why. It's not just because we like to fly the American flag, but it's because of the muzzle brake on the gun, so it doesn't hurt the guy next to you. See, when Dave shot, it hurt me. Now, if there was somebody else there, and there was one day, Steve came up and stuff, and he just backed off and walked away while Dave was shooting it, so he protected himself, But yeah, you got to be careful with that. So we end up putting a flag there, and he usually takes the end stall, so he doesn't have to worry about the other side of them. Otherwise, we'd put one up on each side. But you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that muzzle brake, it'll blow crap in you. As soon as this gun goes off, you're blind. It's in your face, in your eye that quick. There's nothing you can do about it. Even if you're wearing eye protection, it's coming at you from the side. That doesn't even protect you. So it depends what kind of, if you have the wraparound or something, what we don't. But anyway, so here's another doggone thing that happens at the range every now and then, okay? It happens to me. I don't know that this happens to everybody, okay? If you have a semi-automatic, this is something that can happen. This is not going to happen with a bolt-action gun. Once that first shot's fired, you have to do the action yourself. With the semi-automatic, okay, once you shoot 1,000 times, and I'll tell you what, once in a while, and I don't know if that gets a little crud in there or what it is, but once in a while that trigger resets, and it resets to the point where it's reset, it's ready to pull. All you have to do is breathe on it, and it'll fire. I just barely got my finger inside the trigger guard. I didn't even think I touched the doggone trigger, and it fired. So you have to be prepared for that. Downrange, you don't put your, these things can happen. Talked to Dave about it one day. Guns have been actually known to go off by themselves. I mean, it's so rare. How can that happen? Somebody doesn't pull the trigger, right? And normally, 199% of the time, your gun can't go off by itself. Can't hurt anybody unless the guy behind it does, right? Once in a while, conditions could be right for that gun to go off by itself. I don't know if could be shock waves, could be vibration, could be, temperature, different things like that. It could affect a hair trigger like that. That is just reset so lightly, it's ready to go off again, which is what I'm going to talk about right now. My 300 blackout double shoots every now and then, where it resets the trigger and doesn't catch it at all, and it's only a semi-automatic. This is not an automatic gun. And it double shoots, and you got to be prepared for that. It's a boom, because that second shot hits the target a foot higher than the first shot down there. I'm just saying, it double shoots. Now, the first time it happened, it was like, what's going on here? Well, it happens. It happens maybe every few hundred rounds that I send through that. Now it's happening more often. I mean, it's a little, maybe, I don't know exactly yet, but it doubles. It doesn't keep shooting with the finger on the trigger and continue like an automatic, but it does shoot two in a row immediately like an automatic. Now and then. Not all the time. Now and then. Okay? Double shot. Okay? So, while you're messing around with your guns and looking at them and working on them and everything else too, you definitely you want to make sure they're empty in the chambers of everything. And it's not a problem. Same thing when somebody goes down and change targets. Oh, for God's sakes, heaven forbid should the gun be sitting there pointed right at the target, and that hair trigger, all you'd have to do is maybe bump the bench, and no, you don't want that. You don't want a shell in the chamber, obviously. And you want, if you got a safety, it's better to have on or not, but just don't have the shell in the chamber ready to fire. So anyway, here's the other thing that comes up next because of that. The falling gun. I've knocked mine off the bench, and because if we're up doing other things or changing, looking through the spotting scope, I think that's what happened that day that I knocked it off. I got up and I looked through the spotting scope, and when I sat back down, it caught like on a part of my jacket or my shoulder or something, and knocked it right off the bench. And there's concrete under us. It's a concrete pad, our shooting benches are, because we have little covers over the top, little roofs, and everything for when it's raining and stuff. And we go up there and snow and everything. You've seen what they look like. They're great up there at Sugar Ridge, where we like to shoot, okay, because they got the nicest place. That's why we go there. So anyway, yeah, landed upside down on the concrete, hard, when it drops 4 feet. Boom on the concrete. And then who knows what's wrong with it, anything else and stuff. So you have to deal with all of that and look it over real good and tighten things up and stuff, And, so those are just a couple of the doggone things. Big thing that you can do to prevent some of that stuff, you just got to be aware. Anytime you got a gun and you're shooting, if you're hunting or whatever, if it's at range, if it's anywhere, your house, you got to be aware when you got loaded guns around you, of course, right? Okay. Other things, communication with your buddy up there at the range and stuff, or the other shooters too. Now, here's the thing. The best way to do that we've found is to wear the noise-canceling headphones, the electronic ones. So when the shot isn't immediate, making the shot noise cancel, you can hear the guy next to you. You can talk just like time of day, just like normal daytime talking to your buddy, even though he's 8 feet over there at the bench shooting his gun with headphones on, and I'm over here shooting it with my headphones on and a stocking cap and everything, and we can still hear each other like we're just next to each other in the car, or something like that, So those are great, and if everybody has them, the guy who comes up and sits in the bench next to you, then you can talk and you can communicate with him too, and things like that. As far as, when do you want to go down and, change targets, things like that and stuff. And, it's okay to do this stuff. Hey, I'm going to do this first and this type of stuff. But Dave and I talk about the ballistics and all sorts of things, what's happening down there. How many bullseyes does he have, because he's an expert. So anyway. Yeah, big shot at 200 yard. You can Google or YouTube. Subscribe to us. I'm going to give some of these. These are kind of like lectures. Of course, this was. One of the 22 was. But if you look at some of the other videos and you see us out there shooting, and you see Dave giving information, talking about how much powder and what type of bullets he's putting on the brass and stuff, and what type the powder is. Everything all makes a difference, and we're making records of different things like this, so we have that for future reference and things. So we're a couple of guys that love to go out. We're sporting guys, sportsmen that love to shoot, but we're also knowledgeable about some of it. Okay, so it's kind of the idea, so I want to pass that information on. Like it if you'd listen. Big shots at 200 yard. Subscribe to us, and we'll be able to keep making some of these, okay? These little flyers were made out and stuff, kind of got a logo going and stuff, because we got some other things planned. So anyway, thank you. I'll see you soon.